Dr. West, give us some thoughts about having a good marriage. Well, the time doesn't allow that. As a matter of fact, you can have a good marriage from the start, or you can have a wonderful marriage after about 15 or 20 or 30, 40, 50 years. That's why if you're having a problem in your marriage, seek out someone who's been married for about 30 or 40 years, and they can give you some wonderful advice. You don't have to go to a counselor. You don't have to go to some young person who just got a psych degree or a sociology degree from some college. Seek out those people in your church or in your neighborhood who have some longevity, and they'll give you some true wisdom about it. I know this is going to fly in the face of a lot of people, but I would suggest that you try to look to develop, if you're going to marry, try to develop a relationship based on Western marriage concepts. Now, by doing that, the woman will have a lot more liberty to her, but if you marry the right kind of woman, it won't be a problem. And if she marries the right kind of man who's willing to die for her, she won't have any problem submitting to him. And submission is a part of the woman's competence. She should be willing to submit to her husband, and he's supposed to be wise enough not to press the issue out of standards. So the Western marriage will be good because you can have a lot more liberty. And one of the things you want to do, unlike a lot of places such as Japan or especially the Middle Eastern countries where they choose your wife for you, can those marriages work? Yeah, they stay together, but they miss so much of being husband and wife. They're never really a husband and wife. It's like chattel. Any woman who marries into the Islam faith, she is really endangering her well-being, and women who do that, they're not there very long before they want to come out of it, and then they're in it to find themselves in too deeply. So one of the key things is to find yourself the right mate that's right for you. Don't look at calendar beauty. That can be a trick to you because all calendar beauty is going to fade away. Should be never any living together before marriage. None. Zero. But before marriage, you should have very good intercourse. I know I just perked you up some with that, but I don't mean sexual intercourse. I'm talking about intercourse where you and your prospective mate talk about everything. No subject is out of bounds when you get that far into your relationship where you're anticipating marriage. Talk about everything. Discuss everything. Get their feelings about things and how they react to things. Watch them. A good key thing, I heard this many decades ago, and some wise person said, if you want to look at how your mate's going to treat you, look how she treats her parents and her brothers and sisters. I think that's a viable way to get it. But no, get in deep discourses. Find time to be together and just go where your mind leads you and discuss. Make sure you have all the bases touched and all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed. You don't want to find you're going to find this out. The person you marry is not going to be the person you dated. They're going to be different. Hopefully and prayerfully there'll be a better one than you envision being. Respect is vital. Don't marry anyone that doesn't respect you. You're committing for life, and marriage should be a lifelong relationship committed to that. Don't go into it thinking, well, if it doesn't work, there's always the divorce courts. That's almost a recipe for disaster going in. So find someone who respects you and someone that you respect, someone who shares your values. Make sure they're right values. If you go to a bar, you're going to find a bar girl or a bar man. That's what you're going to get. If you go to a church, even today, that can be questionable, but your odds are much better if you get associated with the church. And not just for that, but we have Christian fellowship. So, in other words, someone will surface in your life. You'll turn the corner, so to speak, and that one will be there, and there'll be instant relationship, and that's when you can start developing the relationship. Next thing I would suggest to you is find a mate that you is good to be good for a friend. That's vital. Everything can't be prim and proper. There's a time for every relationship in the marriage. But one of the greatest blessings, if you can find someone who will be a friend to you and you to them. Have fun in the marriage. It has enough trauma and details you have to deal with. It's wonderful to just be able to laugh together. And I just covered this a moment ago. But when you go to the marriage ceremony, if you use any kind of minister, and oh, by the way, no women ministers marry. Okay, they don't. God doesn't permit that. Do they do it? Yes, they do all kinds of other homosexual churches. Yes, a travesty against God, and people are going to go to hell if they believe that. No, find your pastor who will. In fact, is my personal thought on the thing. I would never marry anybody until I had counseled them, and then it would have to be under very extenuating circumstances if I ever married two unchristian people. I only married Christian people, but even then, only after I had counseled them and find out that they were on the same basic, so to speak, page. Marry for the rest of your life. Have a dove kind of a marriage. Doves marry for life. There'll be bumps in the road. There'll be whys in the road. There'll be times when you have to compromise. Yes, but commit. When you say I do, you did, and it's accepted that way. There may be illnesses. There may be frustrations. There may be one calamity out of the other. But remember this too. Every marriage that I've ever known had to go through some little bit of tough times before they weathered maybe the sickness of a child, or maybe an infirmity in the family. So marry for life. And you can only divorce if there are biblical reasons. And you better find those out. You just can't marriage for incompatibility. God will hold you accountable if you try to use that one. And this is a word to the Christian. Never ever marry a non-Christian. Can the marriage survive? It can. Will it be a harmonious marriage? No, because you can't walk in step with somebody. The prophet Amos said, how can we walk together except we be agreed? There's a wide application for that, and marriage is one of them. So always marry a Christian. Don't compromise just for the way somebody might look and how attractive they are to you.